Xiaoyan's expression grew serious as he spoke to Mu Yingying. This can't happen again. Forcing a breakthrough like that. If you fail, the consequences for your future cultivation will be severe. It was clear that without Xiaoyan's assistance, Mu Yingying would have faced a dire outcome. Mu Yingying responded softly, I know. Why so fierce? Let's go, Xiaoyan said, changing the subject. I've searched the area but couldn't sense Mu Feng's presence. It seems he's already left. Xiaoyan, you've broken through to the perfect 4-star Do D level? Mu Yingying suddenly exclaimed, noticing something unusual. Xiaoyan nodded casually. It was just a bit of luck, he replied, without any trace of excitement. After spending so much time away from the mundane world, he had long developed an unshakable calmness. But Mu Yingying was different. Her recent breakthrough to the mid-5-star Do D was largely thanks to the mysterious power within the Yingying imperial pool and the Do D pill. But Xiaoyan's rapid progress was another matter entirely. A month ago, when they entered the pool, he was still at the mid-4-star Do D level. Now, even though nearly a year had passed within the pool's time-distorted environment, his sudden rise to perfect 4-star Do D was shocking, even to someone like Mu Yingying. His terrifying speed of cultivation left her secretly astounded. Let's go. Mu Yingying smiled brightly, clearly in high spirits for reasons unknown even to herself. However, a subtle shift in her gaze did not escape Xiaoyan's notice. She was staring into the depths of the Yingying imperial pool, her eyes growing deep and reflective, as if she was thinking about something important. Only Mu Yingying knew the truth at that moment. Brother, wait for me. I know you're in the underground palace of the Yingying royal family. I will come and find you, she murmured inwardly. Apart from this, Mu Yingying could faintly sense several powerful, hidden presences in the distance. If I don't have the strength, barging into the underground palace will only backfire, she thought to herself, pushing down her emotions. She reminded herself she needed to focus on her cultivation if she was going to rescue her brother. Let's go. Xiaoyan shook his head slightly and gently urged Mu Yingying. The two of them approached the edge of the spatial teleportation array. The array was about 3 meters wide, just big enough to accommodate 3 people at most. The surrounding ground was paved with some exceptionally hard stones, which had remained untouched despite thousands of years of erosion from the Yingying imperial pool, a clear testament to their extraordinary nature. Carved into the stone surface were intricate and mysterious runes, slowly connecting to form the teleportation array. Get ready. I'm about to activate the array, Xiaoyan said to Mu Yingying. Okay. Mu Yingying replied softly. Satisfied with her response, Xiaoyan closed his eyes slightly, channeling the power of his soul seed and releasing strands of spiritual energy. Swish, swish. As his spiritual power infused the array, the mysterious runes flared up with a dazzling light, emitting a strange, otherworldly ripple. In the next moment, both Xiaoyan and Mu Yingying were enveloped by the radiant beam of the teleportation array, disappearing from the core of the Yingying imperial pool. They had officially left that place behind. The core of the Yingying imperial pool returned to its quiet state. Outside the pool, their path led through the 9 fish playing with dragon array, a formation guarded by the heaven-eyed fish clan. It was the only route out of the pool, as well as the key formation that protected it. To leave, Xiaoyan and Mu Yingying would need to pass through it. At the center of the array, the teleportation platform glowed brightly once again. In the next moment, 2 figures emerged from the light. One was a young man with black eyes, carrying a massive black ruler on his back, dressed in simple, unassuming clothes. But there was an unmistakable aura about him that deterred any who might underestimate him. Beside him stood a graceful woman with flowing hair cascading over her robes, her figure highlighted by her elegant attire, her curves accentuated in all the right places. This is so annoying. We still have to teleport one more time to get out of here. The woman complained in a slightly frustrated tone. Xiaoyan chuckled softly at her words. We're almost there. Let's keep moving, he said, his voice calm and composed. Oddly, at the very moment they reappeared, the air around them seemed to vibrate ever so slightly, as if disturbed by some unseen force. Let's go. Xiaoyan's immense soul power had picked up on the disturbance, but he chose not to investigate further. He simply gestured for Yingying to follow as they headed toward the outer edge of the 9 fish, playing with dragon array, aiming to use the spatial teleportation array to leave. Swish, swish. Just as they were about to step forward, a sharp, ear-piercing sound echoed through the array. The 9 fish playing with dragon array was already deactivated, so Xiao couldn't understand why there would be such a disturbance. Boom, boom, boom. In the next instant, an overwhelming wave of destructive Do-Chi appeared right in front of Xiao, carrying an immense and terrifying power as it rushed towards him. Damn it! Xiao cursed, instantly activating his flame mantra. A scorching, milky white flame surged up to cover his body, but even with his powerful soul senses, Xiao knew that the person attacking him was no ordinary foe. Swish, swish. The white flames on Xiao body clashed with the incoming yellow Do-Chi, creating a violent explosion. Cough, cough. Xiao was forced several steps back before he could stabilize himself, his heart filled with shock. During that brief exchange, Xiao had clearly sensed a mysterious power from within the Yingying imperial pool in the yellow Do-Chi. Whoever had attacked him must have also entered the pool. But more troubling was the realization that this seemingly simple strike had left Xiao feeling a deep sense of dread. It had taken all his strength just to withstand the blow, and even then, he barely managed to hold his ground. Xiao, are you all right? Yingying asked, realizing there was something lurking in the space around the 9 fish playing with dragon array, something intent on attacking them. I'm fine, but be careful. It seems we have an enemy here. We're in the open, while they're in the shadows, Xiao said, quickly composing himself and turning to Yingying. Suddenly, a disdainful laugh echoed throughout the formation. So, this is the boy who killed the twin ghost emperors? How disappointing. The laugh reverberated through the space, and the entrances to the 9 tunnels that connected to the array began to slam shut, one by one. Xiao eyes grew sharp. His spiritual senses picked up a faint disturbance in the space before him, and a figure began to emerge. A man in a black cloak, his body cloaked in a dense, dark Do-Chi, stepped out from the shifting space. An intense, oppressive aura emanated from him. As the mysterious black-cloaked figure appeared, Xiao expression became serious for the first time. Yingying's beautiful eyes flickered with caution as she, too, sensed the immense power of this intruder. This aura was even stronger than the half-step 8-star Do-D strength of the twin ghost emperors they had previously encountered in the forest of corpses. Xiao mind raced, and he quietly began gathering Do-Chi, preparing for an inevitable confrontation. Yingying also became alert, her sharp gaze locking onto the cloaked man. Though faint, she could sense a familiar presence coming from him. Senior, what is the meaning of this? Xiao asked calmly, but his body was already preparing for battle. The black-cloaked figure laughed softly. It's nothing. I'm only here to take one thing from you two. Xiao mind raced. This guy means trouble. What do you want? Xiao asked, trying to buy time while secretly preparing his counterattack. Your lives, the mysterious man said flatly. With those words, he raised his hand, and an overwhelming wave of dark Do-Chi surged forward, ready to strike. As soon as the ripple of energy emerged, the space within the 9 fish playing with dragon array was enveloped in a wave of destructive force. Old bastard! Xiao cursed inwardly. In his palm, a lotus of desolation, glowing with 23 different colors, appeared out of thin air. If the black-cloaked man made any sudden moves, Xiao wouldn't hesitate to unleash the lotus straight at him. Give up your resistance. I am one of the royal enshrined of the Yingying royal family, the black-cloaked man said flatly, even though he could sense the terrifying power of Xiao lotus of desolation. His tone was indifferent, as if he already had the situation under complete control. Royal enshrined? Xiao expression darkened immediately. The Yingying royal family's royal enshrined were members of the Dragon Devourer Legion. Out of the 10 members of this elite group, 7 had joined the royal family's enshrined hall, while only 3 had remained independent. The strength of anyone within the enshrined hall was formidable, with the weakest among them being at the 7-star Do-D level. The man in front of him had already reached the level of an 8-star Do-D, a terrifying strength that made Xiao Yin realize that his chances of escaping today were incredibly slim. So, this is the will of the Xinling King, I presume? Xiao Yin forced himself to remain calm despite the grave situation, trying not to betray the unease that weighed heavily on him. At the same time, he quietly sent a strand of spiritual energy into Mu Yingying's body. Mu Yingying immediately sensed the intense fighting spirit burning in Xiao Yan's eyes. The spiritual message he conveyed was clear. I'll hold him off. You need to get out. No. Mu Yingying instantly understood Xiao Yan's plan, and she shook her head vigorously. Are you kidding me? This is an 8-star Do-D. I won't agree to this, she protested firmly, her beautiful eyes filled with determination. I absolutely won't leave you behind. If you don't go, we'll both die here. Xiao Yin responded again through their spiritual link, his tone desperate. All I know is that if we keep going like this, you will die, Mu Yingying retorted coldly. She didn't care how much Xiao Yin tried to persuade her. Suddenly, a brilliant blue flame erupted from her body, and with it came a scorching heat unlike anything Xiao Yin had ever felt before, even causing a slight burn in his soul sea. Are you two done discussing? Then die. The black-cloaked man had noticed their spiritual conversation, but hadn't bothered to stop them. He was confident that the space within the 9 fish playing with dragon array had already been sealed by his immense power. Without a peak Do-D showing up, no one could escape. Go now, Xiao Yin shouted, and with that, the lotus of desolation in his hand was hurled viciously towards the black-cloaked man. The man's entire figure was obscured by his dark robe. He raised a cracked, withered hand, and golden Do-Chi, imbued with the power of death, surged forth. In the next moment, the black-cloaked man moved, his hand brimming with a terrifying energy of death, which swept toward Xiao Yin with unstoppable force. The space around him trembled as he advanced. Swish, swish. Even from a distance, Xiao Yin could smell the intense killing intent radiating from the man. He was clearly aiming to annihilate both him and Mu Yingying. The next moment, Xiao Yan's pupils erupted with a bloody mist, and he threw the lotus of desolation straight into the black-cloaked man's path. The lotus of desolation spun rapidly, releasing waves of destructive power as terrifying heat and fiery ripples spread through the air. But even in the face of Xiao Yan's strongest attack, the black-cloaked man barely showed a flicker of displeasure. His face darkened slightly as the power in his hand surged again. In an instant, the golden Do-Chi from the black-cloaked man overwhelmed the lotus of desolation. Their confrontation lasted less than a second before the supposedly terrifying lotus of desolation was forcibly neutralized by the man's overpowering Do-Chi. What a peculiar battle technique. But even with your perfect 4-star Do-D strength, it doesn't change the outcome. The gap between a 4-star Do-D and an 8-star Do-D is simply too vast, the black-cloaked man said, breaking through the lotus of desolation without even pausing, his energy still surging towards Xiao Yin. The terrifying energy in his hand, filled with murderous intent, only grew stronger as he advanced. It seems I'll have to shed some blood today, Xiao Yin muttered under his breath, his eyes flashing with an unusual bloodlust. Swish, swish. The black-cloaked man continued his relentless assault, determined not to give Xiao Yin any room to breathe, let alone the chance to escape. He intended to kill Xiao Yin in a single strike. If that deadly golden Do-Chi landed on him, Xiao Yin knew that at the very least, he would be gravely injured, if not outright killed. Murmuring to himself, Xiao Yin thought, the gap in strength is too great. He understood that his supposedly invincible lotus of desolation, which was powerful against opponents of the same level, had little effect when crossing such a wide gap in strength. Even though it was fused with 23 types of heavenly flames, it could barely delay the 8-star Do-D for a few seconds. The fact that the lotus of desolation had stalled the black-cloaked man for a few seconds was no surprise to Xiao Yin. During that brief window, neither Xiao Yin nor Mu Yingying wasted any time. They both began to channel all their Do-Chi. They knew that this royal enshrined from the Xinling royal family had come to eliminate them both, so they couldn't afford to hold anything back. Xiao Yin was now enveloped in milky white flames, and his ancient ruler of heavenly flames slowly materialized in his hand. At the same time, the ruler's spirit within the ruler, Long Yi, stirred, sensing the strength of their enemy. Even the ruler's spirit, who had greatly diminished in power after taking its current form, seemed hesitant in the face of such a formidable opponent. Xiao Yin muttered to himself, realizing that this 8-star Do-D was beyond what he could handle with his current strength. His only effective techniques were the Lotus of Desolation and his immortal body. The Lotus of Desolation had already proven insufficient, barely delaying the man for a few seconds. As for his immortal body, Xiao Yin discovered that the space around them had been sealed by some mysterious force, making it impossible for him to manifest the Do-D body. If he could unleash the Do-D body, he might stand a chance of escaping, even against an opponent as powerful as this 8-star Do-D from the Xinling royal family. But with no way to use that ability, Xiao Yin gripped his ancient ruler of heavenly flames tightly. The ruler's spirit coiled within the ruler, seemingly lost in deep thought. Nearby, Yingying also noticed Xiao Yan's hesitation. Without delay, she released her own energy. This was no time for hesitation. After all, they were up against an 8-star Do-D. Her entire body was now engulfed in blue flames. Her sharp gaze locked onto Xiao Yin for a moment before she shifted her focus, and the intense heat radiating from her blue flames began to stir the air with a terrifying force. The black-cloaked man coughed violently a few times. Though he had easily dispelled Xiao Yan's Lotus of Desolation, the sheer destructive power contained within it had clearly made an impact. He hadn't expected a mere perfect 4-star Do-D to be capable of such a dangerous attack. If he hadn't been an 8-star Do-D, that Lotus could have inflicted serious damage. This boy cannot be allowed to live, the man thought, his eyes flashing with a deep killing intent. Without missing a beat, he broke through the flames and launched another devastating attack toward Xiao Yin. Just as he was about to strike, the man's attention shifted to Yingying's blue flames. His attack slowed as he noticed something peculiar about her energy. This girl's flames, they're quite strange, he remarked, halting just 5 meters away from Xiao Yin and Yingying, watching with interest as the blue flames in Yingying's hands swelled with terrifying power. Even though the Desolation Lotus that Xiao Yin had just unleashed, containing the power of 23 heavenly flames, was impressive, the terrifying power radiating from Yingying's azure flames was far more overwhelming. At the level of an 8-star Do-D, there were very few things that could stir the black-clad man's heart. However, these azure flames were definitely one of them. Originally, with his overwhelming strength, the black-clad man could have easily killed the two of them outright. Yet, due to his arrogance, rooted in his absolute confidence in his power, he chose to toy with them. Why? Because a wicked desire had taken root in him. If he could absorb the 23 heavenly flames within Xiao Yan's body, he might even reach the pinnacle of 9-star Do-D. In the Xinling royal family, a 9-star Do-D was an existence that could shake the heavens with a single hand. Once he reached that level, he could venture deep into the underground palace and attempt to harness the mysterious power hidden there. Even someone as powerful as him, an 8-star Do-D, had no right to step into the 7th level of that palace. But there was no doubt, whatever lay within the 7th level was something that could even make a Do Xian's heart race. Such an alluring prospect was something the black-clad man would never pass up. Moreover, the Xinling king had ordered him to kill Xiao Yin at all costs. Xiao Yin had killed the twin ghost emperors, forcing the Xinling royal family and Solomon to delay their plans. Thus, they needed to kill him before he grew any stronger, or he would become a problem for them later. SSHHH. The flames within you are indeed extraordinary. A strange, smiling voice came from under the black-clad man's hood. Why don't you hand them over to me? Humph. Yingying snorted and paid no attention to him. Instead, she let the azure flames surrounding her flow throughout her body. The next moment, a sacred aura emanated from her. This energy, Xiao Yin, who had been hesitating, suddenly sensed something. His eyes widened as he stared at Yingying, and slowly, a few words escaped his lips. That's The power of a sacred flame? Yingying seemed to hear him and immediately sent a thread of soul power into Xiao Yan's body. This flame of mine is indeed a sacred flame, but right now, I can't fully control it, she said softly. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan's pupils burned with excitement. It was the first time he had come so close to a sacred flame. What exactly was the difference between a sacred flame and a heavenly flame? Xiao Yan had been haunted by these questions for a long time, but he kept his excitement in check. He noticed that the soul power Yingying had infused into him was quite extraordinary. And just as her soul power entered him, Xiao Yan felt a stirring within his soul seed. The soul seed of the sacred flame he had acquired in the forest of corpses began to react. As Yingying's soul power flowed through him, Xiao Yan's Do Qi calmed, and his depleted Do Qi and soul power were instantly restored. But what astonished him the most was the sudden agitation of the blue soul seed inside him. Yingying's soul power was resonating with it. This left Xiao Yan deeply shocked. That soul seed was essential for subduing the sacred flame. If it was resonating now, did that mean the sacred flame he'd been seeking had already been absorbed by Yingying? No, that's not right. Yingying's sacred flame is incredibly weak, just as she said. For some reason, she can't harness its full power. Moreover, while her sacred flame resonates with my soul seed, the two feel similar, but not identical. I'm certain these two energies aren't the same, Xiao Yan declared resolutely. You seem to have something hidden within you, Yingying said, her beautiful eyes flickering as she gazed at Xiao Yan. She had only infused her soul power into him to help replenish his strength, but now she had discovered something far more significant. After all, the black-clad man, as an 8-star Do D, was not someone she could handle on her own. I'll explain everything later, Xiao Yan murmured. Let's focus on the situation at hand first. Yingying nodded and snapped back to the present. Her entire body was now engulfed in the azure sacred flame. In an instant, her aura transformed entirely. Her hair, clothes, everything turned a brilliant shade of azure. A pure, holy energy radiated from her, as though no evil could approach her, forcing all wickedness to retreat. This aura, the black-clad man muttered as he, too, noticed the change. Slowly, he removed the hood of his cloak, revealing a weathered face. Most striking of all was the scar on his forehead, a gruesome mark that stretched across his entire brow. So, the other sacred flame is in your hands. A greedy glint flashed in the man's eyes as he stared at Yingying. His terrifying aura surged as the full might of his perfect 8-star Do D power was unleashed. A sacred flame. It's really a sacred flame. Ha ha ha. The black-clad man let out a crazed, maniacal laugh. If I can obtain this sacred flame, no one will be able to stop me. Xinling King. Solomon. Just you wait, he roared with madness. Xiao Yan stood frozen, staring at Yingying. It was his first time witnessing the power of a sacred flame up close. Yet, despite his awe, he remained vigilant. He knew the danger of showing wealth openly. Now that Yingying had revealed her possession of the sacred flame, if they didn't kill the black-clad man, he would stop at nothing to take revenge if he escaped. But killing someone as powerful as a perfect 8-star Do D was nearly impossible. Even when they had defeated the half-step 8-star Do D twin ghost emperors, it had cost them an enormous amount of resources and manpower. How could they possibly kill this man now? However, Xiao Yan had no choice but to stand his ground. Yingying was a member of the Incense Pavilion, his junior sister. There was no way he would hide behind her in this fight. Gripping the ancient ruler of heavenly flames in his hand, an overwhelming and terrifying aura began to emanate from Xiao Yan. If Yingying showed any sign of struggle, he would strike immediately. Yingying, now like a war goddess, was enveloped in azure flames, her entire body radiating holiness. Holy radiance, she whispered. With a slight movement of her hand, a radiant blue beam of light, filled with the power to purify all evil, shot forth toward the black-clad man. What a terrifying attack! Even Xiao Yan couldn't help but marvel at Yingying's power. With that powerful attack, Xiao realized that Mu Yingying's assault was on par with his own Desolation Lotus in terms of destructive force. It might even be more terrifying than his Desolation Lotus. SSSS. The black-clad man let out a strange sound, and in the next moment, a massive Do-Chi shield materialized around him. The shield was golden on the inside, with a layer of black chi on the outside that resembled ghostly chi. Clearly, even someone as formidable as the black-clad man dared not underestimate Mu Yingying, who wielded the sacred flame. Boom, boom, boom. Mu Yingying's azure beam of light instantly pierced through the black-clad man's defense. Swish, swish. The azure light cut through the golden Do-Chi shield as if it was nothing, completely ignoring his defenses, and directly penetrated the black-clad man. Swish. Blood spilled from the black-clad man's chest. His expression twisted in pain as he staggered back, clearly in a miserable state. "I really underestimated the power of your sacred flame," he muttered. "But how many more of those terrifying attacks can you unleash?" His determination to kill Mu Yingying and claim her sacred flame only grew stronger. The more powerful her attacks, the more excited he became, because it meant the sacred flame inside her was even more fearsome. Cough, cough. Mu Yingying gasped for breath after unleashing her attack, her sacred flame retreating back into her body. It was clear that such an assault required an enormous amount of energy. Just as Mu Yingying took a few breaths and prepared to summon the sacred flame once more to deal with the black-clad man, a warm hand rested on her shoulder. A gentle voice followed, saying, "Don't use that power anymore. The rest, leave it to me." Mu Yingying slowly lifted her head, and through her weary gaze, she saw a face with a soft smile. It was the man with the heavy ruler on his back. His body radiated a milky white flame that was also quite extraordinary, but it was the warmth in his smile that filled Mu Yingying with a sense of reassurance.